So next we are going on to the atmosphere exercise. So I'm changing the visibility of the masking exercise just to make things easier on myself, and then scrolling in Photoshop to find my atmosphere exercise. So I did miss a few instructions in this one, and for that I am sorry. But first you want to add a solid color for your atmosphere, and I chose pink, so you can enter that hex number or put in your own atmosphere color. And something I missed was removing this mask first. So delete that layer mask, okay? And another thing I forgot was adding the blending mode of this color fill. And so even in this demo, I don't change that for a while. So next I'm selecting that foreground shape with the color fill hidden in the visibility. And I'm holding shift in areas that I want to select or add to the selection. And now I can select the color fill layer and go to hide selection. Okay. And now that foreground area is all black in the mask, I'd like to change it to a dark gray so that the color fill will be somewhat revealed instead of completely covered. The black means it's completely covered. And of course I can't add that dark gray without having the color fill visible. So now you see there's a bit of that pink influence in the foreground color instead of just completely unaffected by the pink. And now you can go to that marquee tool on the mask properties to select or load the mask as a selection. And I had this wrong. You're not supposed to select inverse because in fact the loaded mask selection selects the white areas already and not the black areas. So I had that wrong. You want the white area selected so that you can then hold Alt or Option and deselect the background shape and therefore only have the middle ground shape selected. So I held Alt or Option to get rid of the background shape. And so now I'm going to add to that mask by changing my foreground color to a middle gray color. There we go. And then I can click on the mask. And with my paint bucket tool, I can fill that, if I have the visibility of the layer on, I can fill that selection of the middle ground with a middle gray. And right now I have it as a dark gray again. I guess the middle gray selection didn't quite work, so I need to fix that. So Command Z, change that color again. Maybe I press cancel or something, and then fill that in. Now you can see it's because I chose a middle gray for the mask, it's halfway affected by the color fill. The middle ground is halfway affected. Okay. And now I'm confused because I'm thinking, why does it look weird? It looks like Pepto-Bismol and not like atmosphere. And again, the problem was that I didn't change the blending mode of my pink color. And I'll worry about the blending mode later, but for now I'm just going to change the levels of this mask. So maybe the dark gray can be a lighter gray and the middle gray can be also a lighter gray and be more affected therefore by the color fill. And I'm checking again, where is my blending mode? It is not there. I forgot. Every little detail counts in this exercise and I missed that part. And so now I'm just going to go through the list and see what looks right. And it does end up being not color, and because that just changes everything to a Pepto-Bismol color, but the same value as the original image instead of just completely opaque and covered. So I'm looking and looking. No, I can't find it. Let me try again and find the right blending mode. It is soft light. There we go. Now I'm adding a new layer to add my gradient. So the gradient tool is under the paint bucket tool, and you want the radial gradient. Then go to the options by clicking on the gradient on the options panel. You want to go to basics, open the disclosure triangle, and then double click the color stop to change the color. And now I'm clicking and dragging the gradient, for which I chose a yellow color stop, to add that gradient to my image on a new layer, the new layer I just added. And then you can change the settings of that new layer with the gradient added to lower opacity, so it's a mild atmospheric effect. So it's going to be like a yellow fog, giving it a little bit of a fantasy look. So next we're going to add a channel that will act as selection bookmarks for the foreground, middle ground, and background. So how to do that. First, you want to add a new channel. And then it will be called Alpha 1. Then click on that layer mask. And once again, I forgot this instruction, but you do want to take the marquee tool and select, not with the gradient tool, no, you want the marquee tool to select that whole mask, which will take up the whole canvas. So I'm selecting the whole canvas, copy the mask, and then paste it after you select the Alpha 1 channel. And now if you open the channels window, you have these Magic Wand selection bookmarks anytime you want. So for now, I'm just going to use this channel to select that white shape with the Magic Wand tool, and that will be my background area. And with my background selected, I can separate it even more from the middle ground by adding a light fog. And you want a white color and a soft brush when you add this fog on a new layer. And another thing I forgot to mention is, see here, this is very opaque. You want to either lower the opacity of the layer that this fog is in, or have a low opacity brush. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to Command Control Z. And I have the opacity at 47% as I add that fog, and now you see the fog is confined to that background shape, and it further separates those planes, the foreground, middle ground, background.